Hello everyone and welcome to The Reality Is. My name is Alicia.
And my name is Sanjana.
And before the show starts, we'd like to let viewers know that the values and opinions that are expressed on the show do not reflect the opinions of Close Look Productions. They are our values and ours alone. And with that being said, one more announcement. We have a sponsor for this show.
Yay!
We have Surrey Honda on 152nd and Fraser Highway. For the latest deals and services, please contact surreyhonda.com. Now let's get started with the show. So
Yes.
episode 7.
Yes.
Episode 7.
We're finally here, almost 2 months in, guys.
Which is just crazy.
Yes.
It honestly feels like...
Feels like just yesterday you called me.
Honestly, it feels like yesterday we just kind of got together and we're
Yeah.
like, what is this show going to be?
Mhm.
And I'm amazed at the support that we've gotten and how easy it is for us to come on every week and do what we do.
I know.
And the guest speakers, just amazing.
This
it's
is
just
like-
so heartwarming.
This is the highlight of my week. Like
Aw.
coming here, finally getting out, meeting people.
Nice,
So nice. Yeah.
So with that being said, let's actually discuss today's topic.
Yeah, so today we're talking about the reality of counseling, seeing who actually needs to get support. A lot of people think that you need to be diagnosed with a mental health illness, but we're going to start to learn that's not simply true or completely true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. And then, yeah, and also kind of seeing like what are the positive impacts of it and common misconceptions that we have and our viewers have.
Yeah, so it's honestly a very basic counseling therapy 101. Like, what the heck is therapy? It's such a big topic. I think that, it will take a lot of time to get through kind of what it is. But with the help of our guest speaker, I think that, she's a best person to shed light on this topic and also the misconceptions that we might have and our viewers might also share with us. So with that being said, we have our guest speaker in the studio. Oh, by the way, we're outside. Isn't that so cool?
In case you didn't notice.
Yes. So our guest speaker, Kashmir Besla, she is a family counselor, and she's here to shed light on the topic. So let's get the show started. Okay, we're back. We have Kashmir Besla in the studio. It's so good to have you on the show. We are really appreciative that you're here to shed light and offer a lot of your expertise in this subject.
Thank you, Alicia. I'm really happy to be here with both of you.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, Kashmir, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so as you mentioned, I am a registered clinical counselor. I have a practice here in Surrey, and I've been doing this work for about 25 years.
Wow.
So I've seen how counseling has changed and grown in the last 25 years, and who's coming in for service and who still isn't. So I have all kinds of stories and experiences and things that I would like to share with you today in terms of what is counseling and some misconceptions about it.
Right. Wow. 25 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Does it feel like 25 years or does it feel like maybe 5 years or,
Actually, it went by very, very fast.
Yeah.
And everything that I did, starting from my very first job as an outreach support worker, has led me to where I am. So you don't just start here, you build your way up to where I am today.
Right, absolutely. And that's
True.
so nice to see that. You started off in outreach work and then you kind of slowly, you probably got a lot of experience from there and use it to this day in the work that you do in your private practice and things like that.
Yeah, I was probably not much older than you when I was hired at my first job and with no counseling experience, but somebody gave me a chance to come and work with an organization because they saw potential in me, and it was from there that I actually decided that I wanted to continue on, finish my degree. My background is in criminal justice as well as doing my master's in counseling, and it's led to where I am today. So all kinds of experiences before going into private practice.
Absolutely. And that's so nice, and I think that's a great message for viewers is that, invest in our youth, invest in our young adults. We have so much to offer, right?
100%.
Yeah. So with that being said, we have a little bit of a game planned. Kashmir will be asking us questions. I'm sure we have still a lot of misunderstandings, a little bit of maybe confusion when it comes to the world of therapy. So Kashmir will be asking us questions, and we'll see. We'll see
what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, so let's get started with the lightning round.
So I've got some myths and stereotypes in front of me, and I'd like to ask you what you guys think. The first one, I don't really care for the word crazy, but unfortunately it is a word that gets thrown around in terms of people needing assistance. So often I hear only crazy people need to attend therapy. What do you think, Alicia? True or false?
I'm gonna say false, because first of all, what does crazy mean? I feel like we all have a little bit of crazy in us. But that doesn't mean that only crazy people can go to therapy. I think that from what I think of it, it's something that is that everyone has ability to go to and should have access to.
Absolutely. You can go to counseling for any reason. It could be, you know, you have stress at school, anxiety, issues with your parents, feeling depressed, a loss of a family member. You could be grieving. So I don't like it when people throw that word around. So you can come to counseling for absolutely any reason. It's just a place for you to come and speak about what's going on for you, process those emotions, and look forward to getting back to what was your normal state before all of that happened.
So no problem is too small, right? Because a lot of people have that fear.
Or too big.
Right.
Yeah, excellent.
Wow.
Okay.
What do you think? Some people believe that counselors just want to break up families.
Ooh. I mean, when you say it like that, I want to say false. I think that they're working towards resolving the conflict that's there. I feel like a lot of youth have quite a bit of stress in terms of like having their parents going to counselors because they feel like it'll break up their relationship, or if there's like some abuse going on at home, that there might be like social services might tear apart their family.
So there are some real fears for families that if we talk about what's really happening in our home, that this counselor is going to break us up. Me as a therapist, have no intention of breaking up anyone. I don't want to break up couples. I don't want to break up families. When we start the process, we do go over some of the things that we would have to report if they were expressed to us. So there are times where we do have to break confidentiality, but it's only if someone is being injured or hurt or wants to do damage to themselves. But no, our intention is never to break up families.
I want to say one thing. I feel like maybe through counseling, people feel more empowered to leave a certain situation or want the best for themselves. So it might be the byproduct of counseling that, you know, a family might break up, but it's not like that's your intention.
Yes, that's absolutely
beginning.
right. It's never our intention. My job is to walk alongside the family or the individual in their journey of whatever's going on. At the end of the day, they're living their lives, and I always like to say they are the expert of their lives.
Yes.
And so after this whole process, if they decide the healthiest thing would be for me to not be in this person's life anymore, that's something that they have to decide. That's something that they have to live with. I'm going to continue on my journey, and they have to continue on theirs. So you're right, it can be a byproduct of maybe what's learned or experienced in a session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What about, I don't really even know this person. How are they going to help me?
Okay. I feel like that's so fair to say. Like, how does going to a counselor, how are they going to understand what I'm going through? So I think there's truth in that, in feeling that way.
Yeah.
But I feel like if that counselor is really there for the best interest of their client, or they're actually effective, like, those barriers will get broken down, and it's like, I guess it's like the therapeutic relationship will prevail. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, like putting all your effort and investment in like having that one-on-one good connection is what's going to actually address this myth.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I get it completely. You're starting a brand new process. You found this person online, or somebody recommended this therapist to you. You don't know the first thing about them, really.
Yeah.
Although lots of people will do some research and try to find out as much about me as they can before they come to see me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, until you walk in that door, I am a complete stranger. So that is why I have so much empathy and praise for people who have the courage to walk through those doors and to meet me for the first time. But like you were saying, it's the relationship. So how do you connect with that person? Do you feel comfortable sitting down and talking to them? Do you feel like after the first session you would like to come back and continue on in that process? So it's true, you don't know them, and you might think, how are they going to help me? But we have experiences and skills and methods that we can do, that we can use to assist you in whatever's going on for you.
I think also, like, maybe that first session is like to see if you're a good fit for the client, and if the client is a good fit for you.
Absolutely.
So it's both ways.
Yes.
It has to work for both of you.
It has to work for both, and as therapists, we're never offended if you meet us and you feel like, oh, I can't continue on with this person.
Yeah.
In fact, we want you to find the right person for you. What about another one that I often hear people saying, there's no point in dwelling on the past.
These are good
Oh
myths.
my God. This is something I feel like I get this a lot sometimes, I feel, from my family, because I think family members are just so concerned about your well-being and they want you to be happy. And I don't think that sometimes they understand that it's not about getting over it, it's about getting through it.
Right.
And in attempts of just trying to be happy instantly, you're not actually resolving the conflict that's going to later affect you in the future.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And why do we hang on to some of the things that happen to us? We could be, 20 and something happened to us when we were 10 and we're still hanging on to it. It's probably
True.
because we've not processed that experience. We've not been validated in that experience. We've never talked to somebody about it, right? So I work with, young people and seniors, and sometimes they will bring up something that happened to them in childhood, and it's because they're still hanging on to that experience. They've never been told anything different about that experience. And I have lots of examples where all I needed to say to this adult was, that wasn't your fault. You were just a kid. There's nothing you could have done. And that just changes everything for them. So it's not about rehashing the past, it's about being able to talk about our experiences from the past.
Or trying to get like a new perspective, or the way you perceive things might not always be the reality of the situation.
Or even just having that space to either like express that emotion, whether it's the anger or sadness or just breaking down and crying. It's it's I guess it's cathartic in that way, but also it's in a space where you are working through it. So I think that's so important.
For sure.
Let's try another one. What about prescription drugs? I'll just pop a pill. That works better than therapy. What do I need to go see a therapist for?
Is it my turn?
Sure, you can take this one.
Is it? I think it's your turn, right? Yeah.
So I want to say yes or no, because I feel like for some people that might be effective, but for others it would be effective to do only therapy, and for others it might be effective to do therapy and prescription drugs. I don't think that's the first the first I guess pathway you should take, because I'm sure there are reasons why this person is taking these medications as opposed to talking about it. So that's a little concerning, but I think that it has its own benefits, prescription drugs. But I also think that therapy also together can have a better result for this person.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Drugs have been around for a long time, and sometimes people just see that little magic pill and they think, okay, I didn't want to go on medication, but I'm on medication. If I just take this medication now, everything will be fine. What they don't realize is in order to make some really positive life changes, it takes a series of things. So as registered clinical counselors, we're not able to prescribe any sort of medication. That's something that you would do with your family physician or psychiatrist if you're working with one. But we know that sometimes that chemical imbalance can really be helped by taking prescription medication, but then also coming in and doing the therapeutic work, sitting down and talking to someone. Also exercise. Also seeing your lifestyle. Are you eating properly? Are you getting enough sleep? Do you have enough other social support in your life? So for me, I'm always on the side of doing a bunch of different things to make that happen. It's not just one thing. It's not just therapy. Oh, come see me, because I don't have all the solutions either. So it's going to be a series of things that get you through that.
Yeah. Really like taking care of your mind and your body and the relationships that you have with yourself and other people.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about believing that the therapist has all the answers? I know I have 25 years of experience, but is it fair to think that I have all the answers?
I wish. I really wish.
What to do.
Honestly, I actually used to believe that. Now I think I know a little better. But I think therapy is more like a tool, I guess, or but it's really about what you use with those resources and how much willpower you have or how much interest you have in resolving conflict, I think, is what matters. I think we like even talked about this.
We talked about it in one of our other episodes, and it was really just like and you already mentioned this, that, you know, we are experts in our own lives.
That's right.
You can be there alongside us to cheer us on, to provide us with tools, add to our toolbox, but really at the end of the day, we kind of know what's going to work for us and what's not.
And what's not. Yeah. You have to live your lives. And even with all my experience, I don't always have all the answers. And I do have my own clinical supervisor who I can go speak to when I'm feeling a little bit stuck working with someone. So we're always learning and we're always growing. But sometimes people do come in and just say, tell me what to do. You know what I should do. And that wouldn't be helpful, because I could say, hey, do all this. But you know what? That might not be what that person needs.
You
They
need
need
to
to find out.
You need to see where it applies into your life, because every person's different. There's
Yeah.
no set of rules for each person.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's right. Yeah, great.
That's really good.
Yay.
I really liked how this kind of turned out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Thank
Good
you for
conversation.
answering those questions.
Totally.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. I guess our next line of questioning is, why is it difficult for young people to receive the support? You know, there are so many barriers for society, you know, just to you know, be able to go in for therapy and stuff. But in order to encourage the young people to start off a little bit earlier to gain that support, it's really important to know why they're not, you know, accessing these supports. So what do you think?
So I think there's a few reasons why young people are hesitant to seek help.
Okay.
One is, I think we are growing up in a culture where asking for help is sometimes seen as a sign of weakness, right? So there must be something wrong with you. You can't handle your life. Therefore, you have to go outside and talk to a professional. And we know, that's another myth, that that's absolutely not true. Asking for help is actually a sign of strength, right? So we ask for help in all, you know, so many other areas of our life.
Yes.
Why not in terms of our emotional health and our
It's
mental
expected
health?
in other areas,
Yes.
like work and
Yeah.
sports, but then when it comes to mental health, why is it so hard, you know?
To ask. The other thing is, sometimes it's not always available, right? Or you might have had a bad experience. Maybe you tried talking to a counselor and you didn't have a good experience, and then you tell yourself all counselors are the same, all therapists are the same, and you might not want to go back. But please give us another chance. Even if you had a bad experience,
for sure.
find someone, like we said in the earlier segment, that you can connect with, who is relatable, who you can trust, where you feel validated, right? And I think another reason is sometimes people are concerned about confidentiality issues. Will my problem be out in the community? Will other people hear that I'm struggling with anxiety or depression or whatever the issue is? And we are bound by, you know, ethics that I would not be talking about your experience to anyone unless you gave me permission to. And in most cases, we don't need to talk to anyone about what's going on for you. And so I think that's another fear that people have, is that my information might get out into the community.
Absolutely true. I think also another one, and this is something I've personally, and I think Sanjana can also agree, have struggled with, is, well, you know, my problem is not big enough for me to go and see a counselor, or even in a high school setting. Well, you know, the individuals who are, you know, at risk or are labeled as having a hard time in high school are the ones that are gaining those supports, right? So it's important to know that, you know, we deserve to go and get that help.
You don't have to have a label of being sort of the troubled youth or you know, a troublemaker. You can be just anyone who's struggling with any kind of life issue. And feel free to go and ask for help. There's free help available in the community. Sometimes another barrier is cost of therapy, which can be expensive. But young people often have at least one parent who has extended health, so they could go see someone through that as well. So, and I'm always reminding adults, you know, through your extended health, you all get your teeth cleaned, you buy new glasses. What about your mental health? Why aren't we using that piece, which you're all paying for as well already, so why not use it?
But what happens if you don't really feel comfortable sharing that with your family that you need external support, are there other resources that are for free that you can recommend?
So there's some resources that are free in the community. I would Google those. One that comes to mind is the Moving Forward program in Surrey. But there's also phone lines for kids and youth that can be accessed as well.
Yes.
So just a quick Google search will help you to find something or get you on the track of being able to find someone that you can talk to.
Perfect.
That's so great.
That's great to hear.
So I guess before our show ends, is there any kind of last words that you'd like to put with for our viewers?
Yeah, I'm always very inspired by the youth that I work with. It's always very exciting to work with someone and then run into them years later and they approach you. I have a lovely story of a woman I worked with when she was, I believe, 13, 14, fast forward, ran into her 10 years later at a university, and she was finishing her social work degree. And she shared in that moment, Kashmir, when you were my family outreach worker, when you used to sit in my room with me and talk about what was going on in my family, that's when you put that idea in my head that I wanted to do similar work. So, that is the best compliment that I could ever get. So I believe in the future. I believe in youth. I believe in creating healthy youth, right?
Yes.
People who, want to take on the world, but also are taking care of themselves as well. So I would highly recommend to any young person, looking for services, don't be afraid. Find someone you can connect with. Find a trusted adult, right? Find a therapist if you can. There's always help. Don't think that there isn't help for you, or that your problem is too small or too big, or that someone isn't going to understand. You will find someone who does hear you.
And that's the thing, is really normalizing, the need to go for therapy or accessing therapy, and instilling that at a younger age, you know, so that people do feel comfortable, and it's they don't have to think twice about the stigma around it, and that's really the reason why we started this show, and we have you on so that you can clear up these misconceptions and kind of put a face to this big old therapy word. So thank you so much for being on the show.
So
we
much,
really
ladies.
do appreciate
this was
it.
really wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, another great show. I don't know why we always say that. Obviously, it's great. Yes. I hope that everyone loved the setup. What a sick setup. So thank you to Simi's Backyard. Thank you to Dan and to Gita for setting this up. Thank you to us, as always.
Always. We never forget to.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why.
But yeah. That was a great show. It was so nice to have someone really unpack all these misconceptions that we have, barriers that are keeping people away from getting resources that are actually out there in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And given that this is about therapy, if you're watching this, if you're youth, if you're a concerned family member or citizen, please share this video so that we can get the word out there. The reason why we do this show is to get the word out there. And by sharing this video, we spread the message to the masses. So we would really appreciate that. And what is our social media?
At The Reality Is Show on Instagram. And we also have email, but no one emails us. But it's therealityshow@gmail.com. Please do that.
And we'll see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. Ciao!